Good afternoon, my name is Alexandra Mina and I'm going to answer the practice questions from the exercise 5.7 of the CareerFoundry's Data Analytics course. Question number 1. What does the CRISP-DM methodology for data mining entail? What does the data analysts do in each step? CRISP-DM means Cross-Industry Standard Process for Data Mining. This methodology has 6 steps: business understanding, data preparation, modeling, evaluation, and deployment. Let's take a look for each step. First one is business understanding. Any good project starts with a deep understanding of the customer's needs. This phase focuses on understanding the objectives and requirements of the project. Next step is data understanding. It drives the focus to identify, collect, and analyze the datasets that can help to accomplish the project goal. The third step of the methodology is data preparation, and the common rule is that 80% of the project is data preparation. Much of the time will be spent selecting and cleaning data. Next step is modeling, when you will decide which combination of logic and algorithms to apply to the dataset. Of course, it will be influenced by the goals and nature of the project. The following steps is evaluation, whereas the assess model tasks of the modeling phase focus on technical model assessment. That is to assess if the model meets the business goals identified in step 1. A model is not particularly useful unless the customer can assess its results, so the final step is deployment. Usually this step is done by a data engineer and the model should be maintained and monitored over time. Question number 2. Explain what needs to be done before you forecast time series. In other words, what does time series analysis involve? A time series is a set of data arranged in chronological order. The time series analysis is a descriptive process that helps us to understand the data, where the data analyst is looking for patterns or trends in the data and trying to explain them. The forecasting time series can be performed by making a model based on historical data and extending it to future values. Question number 3. Discuss the main principles of data ethics as well as what companies or organizations could do to uphold these principles. The main principles of data ethics are privacy, transparency, accountability, and equality. Privacy states that individuals should be in control of their personal data. Transparency means that individuals should have a clear overview of the data that organizations collect and share. Accountability states that organizations are responsible for the data that they collect and share. And equality states that organizations must not disadvantage or discriminate against individuals or groups when handling and processing the data. Organizations must comply with these principles, getting the consents of individuals before collecting and sharing private information. The organizations need to be transparent about how they handle and process data. If companies don't follow the principles of data ethics, can pay substantial penalties and will deal with reputation issues. Question number 4. Imagine you are an analyst at a financial services company and you have some concerns about bias in the way a predictive model was measured. How would you raise your concerns with your manager? Make some suggestions for how to avoid measurement bias in the future. Bias comes in many ways, and it will corrupt results if it's not controlled. If I have some concerns about bias in the way a predictive model was measured, first I would go to talk with my manager about it and explain why I think we are facing measure bias and provide possible outcomes. To avoid this kind of bias in the future, we should ensure there are multiple measuring devices, design and communicate the testing procedures clearly and openly. Make sure the validators have an adequate level of experience and training and have a continuous policy of reviewing and updating the process. The companies should have also a policy manual with detailed how to deal with the data ethics issues. Question number 5. Explain the difference between regression and classification models in predictive analysis. When would you use one of these models over the other? Regression models are used to measure the relationship between quantitative variables, usually to create a predictive model. They show how one variable may affect another in order to make predictions. Regression models are versatile and used for many different industries. For example, financial analysts use it to measure the price relationship between different assets so they can determine the best prices at which to buy or sell them. Classification models predict what categories an entity will fall into based on a set of predefined features. For example, classification models are used to identify which customers would likely default on a loan. And thank you for your time.